One sleep to go. Football is back over in Germany, and welcome to the Hammers Chat Bundesliga preview. Little disclaimer before we get started. My knowledge is average, somewhat okay. So if you're an expert in the German football, probably not the preview for you. You might want to go elsewhere, but before you do, drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. Helps us out anyway. Appreciate the sentiment, the idea behind the video at least. But if your knowledge is slim to none, this is probably the preview for you. We're going to take a little look at all 9 fixtures spread across 3 days over in Germany with a massive derby on the cards to get us started as well. So, without further ado, let the average knowledge commence. RB Leipzig against Freiburg is the first fixture we're taking a look at here, with Leipzig 5 points behind Bayern Munich in the table. The break possibly came at a good time for them with just 2 wins in the last 7, or 1 loss in the last 16, depends how you want to look at it. But one thing's for sure is they need to start turning their draws into wins if they're going to challenge for the Bundesliga. They do, however, have possibly the best run-in. Certainly on paper, it looks a bit easier. They've played the big boys. Now they've got a lot more heavily weighted fixtures towards the bottom of the table. Timo Werner is expected to move for big money this summer and he's scored 21 goals this season, and he's going to have a big part to play, but he's not the player we are picking out to look out for. That is Christopher Nkunku. He joined Leipzig from PSG for 10 million, and what a season he is having. 12 assists in 23 games means he's scoring or assisting a goal just over every 90 minutes. What a season from the young lad. With just 3 wins in 11 games, the break came at the right time for Freiburg. However, they do still sit 8th in the league. 6th place in the Bundesliga gets Europa League football, and they've also got a few players returning from injury after the extended break. They've got a couple of youngsters to keep an eye out for. Waldschmidt is one of them that rose to fame last summer, the Euro Under-21 champions. England didn't fare well, but he did. 7 goals in 5 games, but he's not the player I'm picking out to watch from Freiburg. That is Robin Koch. He's been linked to a few big moves over to England already. The centre-back was called up to the German full team this season and is 23 years of age. He's got a big future ahead of him. Hoffenheim take on Hertha Berlin, with Hoffenheim currently occupying 9th spot in the Bundesliga, not too far away from 6th, and hold a chance of Europa League football next season. However, they're going to need an upturn in form, going 5 games without a win prior to the break. The break has meant, though, a small chance to see the return of Kramaric. He won't be featuring this weekend, as missed a large part of the season and is arguably their best player, but one thing he certainly is their best goal threat. 7 goals this season, but only 12 starts. The player we're picking out to look out for, though, is Robert Skov. He's left back, although he was signed from Copenhagen as a striker. Well, he's done well in his conversion to the left back and is deadly from set pieces. 3 goals to his name this season, and when they get a free kick, he's lining up. This could be the team for West Ham fans. If you need a team, you're a West Ham fan, it's probably Hertha Berlin. They play in Olympic Stadium. They promise good stuff. They promise aspirations of European football, but continuously fail. They continuously don't do well. And here they are, lurking 6 points ahead of the relegation playoff zone. So if you're a West Ham fan and you need a team similar to West Ham, Hertha Berlin is probably the team for you. Berlin are now on their 4th manager of the season. Jurgen Klinsmann stepped down in February and they appointed Labida last month. This is his first game in charge as manager, so we can't really know what to expect, which is a bit of a shame throughout the form because Hertha Berlin had gone 5 games away from home unbeaten prior. He did prefer a 4-3-3 at Wolfsburg, and if we are going to see that, that might suit some of the players they brought in January. They had a big January transfer window, Hertha Berlin. In came Piatek, in came Escobar, who first appeared in Hammers Chat a couple of years ago, someone we would have liked to have seen at West Ham, and they brought in Kuna as well. Now, he started extremely brightly with 2 goals already for the club, but he's not the player we're picking out. We're going to be picking out Piatek simply because they need goals. Hertha Berlin are only 6 points ahead of Fortuna Düsseldorf, who are currently in the relegation playoff zone, so they need to start scoring and they need to start winning, and Labida needs a big start at Hertha Berlin. Union Berlin are the people's club in Germany at the minute. They came up through the playoffs last season, expected to really struggle, but they haven't. They have not at all. They're currently sitting 11th in the Bundesliga, 8 points clear of the relegation playoff zone, so we can maybe expect to see them have another season in the top flight next year. Fantastic stuff from them, but 2 players in particular stand out for me. The first one is Trammell, the right back, or right wing back I should say. It's a very popular formation. I say formation, there's different variations, but the wing back role is a very popular thing in Germany, and most players have extremely strong players in the wing back positions, and Union Berlin are no different to that. Trammell there with 7 assists to his name, but here's the fun fact, all 7 have come from corners. A ridiculous stat there, but he's not the player we're picking out to look out for. It is their striker Anderson. 11 goals this season for the big man up front, and when I say big man, 6 of his goals are headers. So you're kind of getting why wing backs are important to Union Berlin, as are the corners. And the assist of Trammell setting up Anderson, that's happened 5 times this season. It's the second most popular sequence in the Bundesliga this season, only battered by 2 players at Bayern Munich. Not bad at all for those two, not bad at all for Union Berlin. So while some clubs have benefited from the break coming, one club that definitely hasn't is Bayern Munich. They were in red hot sizzling form, weren't they? They smashed Chelsea in the Champions League, 4 points clear of the Bundesliga, unbeaten in 15. They had a slow start to the season with Kovac getting the boot just before Christmas, but since Flick's come in, everything's better, the results are better, the football's better, the confidence is better. They are looking like contenders, not just for the Bundesliga, but for the Champions League as well. Other European elite clubs were somewhat stuttering, perhaps, but they were just getting into form as the season broke up. But there was this small silver lining is their star striker Lewandowski was injured. He's a bit fresher, he's a bit fitter now. You'd imagine he's back in the starting 11. So that's the slight positive for them. But he's not the player we're picking out. We've just spoke about how wing backs suit Union Berlin, and it's no different at Munich. And it's Alphonso Davies, the name. He's sort of like the hype at the minute. And why not? 19 years old, fast as lightning, but what a player he is going forward. Now defensively, he's very questionable. He's not overly convincing at the back, but he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have much defending to do. He practically plays as a left winger anyway. He gets down that side. Thiago can cover him. Narby, Coutinho, whoever's playing left wing can cut in. Happy days. It's all systems go. 4 points clear though. You'd imagine it's a healthy lead to start with, but they're only a couple of results away, and there's a few clubs right behind them as well. It's not just one club. It's not a 2-club race like it is in England's over the last few seasons. This is different. The Bundesliga title could get blown wide open should there be an upset in Berlin this weekend. I'm looking forward to this one. Frankfurt against Mönchengladbach. Now, Frankfurt were everybody's favourite team last year. They were scoring goals. They were impressive in the Europa League. And what disappointment they've been this season. It hasn't helped having their front three picked apart last season as Rebic headed to Italy, Jovic headed to Spain, and Sebastian Aller obviously came over to West Ham United. But they panic buyed a little bit. Bastos come in and he's not been great. He's been a bit of a failure actually, that option up front. But their other option, Andre Silva, has picked up well in 2020, the calendar year. He scored 5 goals and he's going to play a big part. They're closer to the relegation zone than they are in Europa League football, which is just not good enough for Frankfurt, really, is it? They're just they're steering the ship into good old mid-table obscurity this season. They should be alright. No relegation battle. No Europa League excitement. A bit boring for Frankfurt. Now, the player we're picking out is one of my favourite players in the Bundesliga, and that's Kostic. The man responsible for a lot of Sebastian Aller's goals last season, actually. He was playing left wing back this season. There's been a slight change now, and he's now playing left wing. Out and out left wing. Averages 8 crosses a game. 8 crosses a game. No surprise it's a league high either. But to be fair, he's also going to got 8 assists and 4 goals, so he's having a superb season. But Frankfurt, not really. Next up, we've got Mönchengladbach, who currently occupy 4th in Bundesliga, but are just 2 points away from Dortmund, who are 2nd. But a Champions League spot is by no means done and dusted, by Leverkusen right behind them in 5th, setting us up for a grandstand finish in the German league with the title to be competed for, the Champions League place to be competed for. Now, this is a team you'd expect a lot of goals for, and perhaps that's the biggest disappointment. They're tail a little bit behind Dortmund, Leipzig and Munich for that reason. And we'll get on to why they should perhaps score more. But their style of football is thoroughly enjoyable to watch. They can play direct, but when the ball's in the final third, they do the high pressing as well, which creates excitement, creates entertainment. They've got quality all over the park. And if there's Premier League clubs at home that's not in the Sky Sports top 6 looking for a Bundesliga team to focus on for players that they could bring to the Premier League, this is probably the team for them. Sommer's one of the best goalkeepers in the Bundesliga, very underrated. Zakaria in the middle of the pitch has got everything about him. It's just made for Premier League football, for being that key man in the middle of the pitch. And then they've got nothing but talent in the attack. Herman is a bit older, who plays on the right. Then you've got Thuram on the left, player through the middle. You've got Mbola that can play in behind as well. Young talent there. And Thuram's the one we're picking out. 6 goals, 8 assists. Fantastic down that left, can play through the middle as well. They've got talent all over the park. And there's one team, you want to watch one team this, what do you want to call it, this period, this final part of the season, it's not a bad team to pick up to watch. Fortuna Düsseldorf against Paderborn down at the bottom of the table, with Düsseldorf currently 16th in the Bundesliga, which is the relegation playoff zone. They need to do a lot better after the break than they did before it, with just 2 wins in 15 games, but this could be and should be the perfect opportunity to get going. They are going to have to do it though without their first choice goalkeeper, who's out for the remainder of the season. The player we're picking out for this one is Eric Tommy, who's the left midfielder for Düsseldorf. He's currently got 5 goals and 4 assists to his name, but he's also in the top 3 at the club for dribbles, shots and key passes per game. Key man for Düsseldorf. Paderborn are rock bottom of the Bundesliga, 6 points behind Fortuna, so if they lose this Saturday, they'll be 9 points away from having any hope of avoiding relegation. It's a big ask to do. They're going to have to do it without their top goal scorer. Mamba is out for the rest of the season. However, in January they did make a clever purchase. They got back Dennis Serby from Norwich City. He left them to go to Norwich City, and they've got him back again. But he's made a really good start since rejoining the club. 4 goals in 6 starts, and he's going to have to continue that form. Paderborn have got any hope of avoiding relegation this season. Augsburg take on Wolfsburg, and the home side have got a new manager for this one. Schmidt was dismissed prior to the break after going 5 games without a win, but Reece Oxford's side do sit 5 points clear of Düsseldorf in the playoff relegation zone, so they're by no means clear of danger, but they've got a nice buffer zone after they get going this weekend. Their top goal scorer, Niederlechner, has gone 5 games without a goal, but he's got 11 to his name this season. They're going to be relying on him for goals, and he has to get up and scoring if they're going to remain clear of the bottom. But the player we're picking out to focus on is one that will interest West Ham fans because he's a left back. But he's also one of the best left backs in the league. That's Philip Max. He's fantastic going forward, really strong defensively, but his set pieces are really pick him out. He's got 7 goals this season, 3 of them coming from direct set pieces, as well as 5 assists. Someone that would suit West Ham down to the ground. Wolfsburg are 7th in the league and going for that Europa League spot. They were unbeaten in 6 prior to the break, scoring 10 goals in 5 games as well. So this break came at a complete wrong time for them. And Weghorst, their top goal scorer, is suspended for this one, so they're going to have to do without him if they want to get the campaign up and running for a short period anyway. But the player we're picking out is also their left back. Well, left wing back, and that's Roussillon, a name that's probably a bit more familiar in European football. Fantastic game for a really good dribbler of the ball. He doesn't cross the ball too much though. He's not like Philip Max, who gets the ball in a lot more often, but he is extremely good going forward, but a much more solid player defensively as well. Now we've got Dortmund, 4 points off Bayern Munich. They'll be going for the title, let's make no doubts about that. But they're going to have to do it with a small injury crisis this weekend. No Royce, no Emre Can, no Witzel. They're missing some big players, and big players is what they've got there. They're the People's Club. I think they're probably the most popular club among non-German fans. And for the right reasons. Fast attacking football, entertaining football, youngsters coming through, Sancho, Haaland. Everything about them is very likeable, but the player we're picking out, believe it or not, is one of their wing backs. Wing backs are very important at Dortmund. They both get up the pitch very, very high. Allows Sancho and Thorgan Hazard to tuck inside, create that front three, a narrow front three, and really attacking numbers. And it's the right wing back we're picking out, who doesn't even belong to Dortmund. He's on loan from Real Madrid, and Hakimi's just 21 years old, but he's provided 5 goals or assists in his last 5 games. This season, though, he's got 10 assists, an absolute fantastic player for Dortmund, and a crucial player for Dortmund as well, and one that's going to go on to become world class and the best in his position. Next up is Schalke, who are currently 6th in the Bundesliga, but they need to buck their ideas up fast if they want to hang on to the last European spot in Germany. No win in 7 going into the break, and they've also got a -3 goal difference. Everyone round about them have got a slightly better goal difference than they do, so they need to get going. David Wagner's the manager there. You recognise him, the former coach at Huddersfield Town. And then we've also got John Joe Kenny at right back, who's on loan from Everton, the young England under-21 international, doing very well as well. I think he's going to make his move to Schalke permanently, or he certainly was prior to the break, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And they're my team. They're my German team. This is who I root for in Germany. Just because I went out there for the pre-season tournament when West Ham were involved in it, which was 2014. It was certainly quite a few years ago. I enjoyed myself, so I decided to adopt them. The player focusing on Serdar, the centre midfielder, I think he's just class. His passing's fantastic, very mobile in the middle of the pitch, and I would love to see him at West Ham. I think it's a move that I could see happening realistically as well if we were to prepare to pay the money. He wouldn't be cheap. 7 goals he's got from centre midfield this season. He arrives late in the box as well. He's not afraid to shoot from outside it either. He's a fantastic, fantastic player. I really like Serdar. So if you're watching Schalke Dortmund this weekend, keep your eye out for him in the middle of the park for the Blues. The other Sunday fixture, FC Köln take on Mainz. Now, FC Köln got promoted last summer. They had a difficult start to Bundesliga, but my word, have they turned it on. They're sitting 10th, and they actually have an outside chance of getting into Europa League spaces. Relegation's now behind them a little bit. They're not too worried about that. But if you were to only take the results of the second half of the Bundesliga, Köln will be fourth. They are scoring goals and they're winning games. They've won 5 of the last 6 at home. Now they were the side that were in the news recently because 2 of their players and their physio tested positive for the virus. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. The player we're going to focus on is Mark Uth, who plays attacking midfield, but he averages 3 key passes a game. That's big numbers, and that's better. That's better than Jack Grealish for the English people that have tuned into this. Impressive. He's got a goal and assist in his last. A goal or assist, in his last 8 Bundesliga games. Big figures from this guy, and he's in red hot form as well. But FC Köln, a dark horse for getting into that Europa League, because unlike some of their counterparts like Schalke, they were in really good form. Mainz need to be careful for the remainder of this season. They currently sit in 15th in the Bundesliga, just 4 points away from the relegation playoff. Not good, and you add in the fact that the first choice keeper is out for the remainder of the season. That is also not good, and to make things worse, they've got a bit of a tough run-in. They've got Leipzig just round the corner as well, so it's not getting any easier. They're going to rely on their main goal scorer, who's one of the top goal scorers in the Bundesliga, and that's Quaison. 12 goals in 24 games. He's the player we're recommending you watch, not just in general, but if you're a West Ham fan, someone that could be handy to come in to give Sebastian Haller a little bit of competition up front if need be. He's going to need to score goals, otherwise Mainz could very much be in trouble come the end of the season. On Monday night, Werder Bremen and Bayer Leverkusen wrap up this weekend of Bundesliga action. That's where we're going to finish off in the video. Werder Bremen, wow, what a bad season they're having. Second bottom of the league, 8 points from safety. They've only got 5 points at home all season. In fact, they've lost their last 6 home games, failing scoring 5 of them, and only 3 teams have ever done worse in the top 5 of German football, and they've all gone and got relegated. That's exactly what's going to happen to Werder Bremen, unless they perform miracles after the break. And they're going to have to do it without Davy Klaassen. He's suspended for Monday night's game. And we're going to turn our attention. The one to watch is someone that West Ham genuinely want. This is a player West Ham have actually scouted. Fun fact. So don't be surprised when you're watching this game on Monday night as a football club. And that is Rashice. He's 23 years old. He can play on the left. He plays on the left of a front three for Werder Bremen. He's their top goal scorer in the league, though. So he plays out there, 23, Kosovo international. But they're doing well, Kosovo. They're a country that's certainly doing better than their means, perhaps. 7 goals, 4 assists this season, right-footed. He plays on the left, but he's right-footed. So he's almost like a Jared Bowen on the other side of the front three. So that's someone to watch out for, West Ham fans. And if it was already looking grim for Werder Bremen, it's just got a bit grimmer because they're up against Bayer Leverkusen. What form they're in? The 3rd most points in 2020 is for Bayer Leverkusen. Only Munich and Dortmund have picked up more. However, Leverkusen have beaten both of those sides as well. This is what makes it interesting. They're currently 5th in the Bundesliga. But not only are they in there with a chance of the Champions League, they're not that far off a title surge, basically. They probably have to win nearly all of their games, if not all of their games, between now and the end of the season. But they're a side capable of big results, big performances, full of big players. They've got 3 players in the top 10 for crosses in the Bundesliga this season. That's no surprise because they're a very possession-based side. They have the second highest possession average in the league behind Bayern Munich, which means that they have to get the ball out wide to find space, try and get in behind the fullbacks and get the crosses into the box. And it works. You know, Diaby is a fantastic player for him, 20 years old. He's got a really big future in football. Boland's out for this one. They are missing Boland. He's a big doubt anyway. He's likely to miss out. But the player we're going to focus on it's no surprise. This is my tap-in, actually, and that's Kai Havertz. I mean, this player's got the pick of the clubs in world football, really. He could go to any single football club in the world. And if it's not this summer, it's probably going to be next summer that he departs from Leverkusen, which is a bit of a shame. But he's got it all, hasn't he? 7 goals and 7 assists in 2020. I mean, I know we're only 5 months in, but 2 of them haven't even seen football. So in 3 months, essentially, he's got 7 goals and 7 assists. Just ridiculous. An absolute fantastic talent. He's going to be one of the best in the world, really, isn't he, Kai Havertz? What a player. There you have it, the Hammers Chat Bundesliga preview. Oh, I'm a bit more excited for football after doing all that little videos. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like on it. It'll really help us out and mean a lot. And to be honest with you, it'll encourage me to do more because they take a little bit of research. It takes a little bit of time. It takes Charlie a little bit of time to edit. So if you have enjoyed it, drop a like on it. Subscribe and you're around here. We're on our way to 12,000 subscribers. That's exciting, isn't it? Well, maybe not for you, but it's exciting for me. But I'll tell you what is exciting for you. Bundesliga's back tomorrow. Let's go.